Trump's path to power mirrors Rome's darkest days. For 482, Trump's path to power mirrors Rome's darkest days. For 482, Trump's path to power mirrors Rome's darkest days. For 482 years, Rome was a democratic republic, more or less, but, largely a democratic republic, the world's second after, Greece 1,000 years earlier. And America has been a democratic republic, arguably, for 236 years. The end of the democratic phase of the Roman Republic, which was followed by several hundred years of tyranny, basically, and then the collapse of the empire itself. The end of the democratic phase of the Roman Empire was really brought about by a small group of very, very rich Roman citizens. Marcus Licinius Crassus was the leader of the band. He was the richest man in Rome, in the Roman Empire, the entire empire. Very, very wealthy. And Crassus was the leader of the band. He was a small group of very, very rich Roman citizens. Marcus Licinius Crassus was the leader of the band. He was the richest man in Rome, in the Roman Empire, the entire empire. Very, very wealthy. And he hated the fact that his taxes were paying for Rome's free bread for all policy. Remember bread and circus? Well, give people free bread, give them the Colosseum, and they won't revolt. Well, he didn't like that because it was.
Call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakaha Kodash and Shalom Lubakarim Shor Yasharala. Double honors to my apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the whole elect and the elect lady and your children. And as you can see, man, Esau knows, man, this is the revival Roman Empire all over again. And Trump is Nero back. And as Rome fell, also the new Rome, America, Babylon the Great will fall. Let's listen.
Paid for with his tax dollars. So he and a few other rich guys, Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus was probably the most famous. He was called Pompey the Great, or Pompey the Great. They wanted to end the voice of the public in political decision making. And particularly they want to end free bread, paid for with their tax dollars. So they used their massive wealth to promote authoritarian populism and buy off legislators. It was the Senate, the Roman Senate, who'd be loyal to them. And this created a gridlock in the Roman Senate, which caused the Roman people to lose faith in their form of government. The Senate was no longer capable of getting anything done because the senators who were loyal to the billionaires, to the Roman billionaires, refused to go along with doing anything that would help the people. They would own the.
And he's laughing because he sees the parallels of America. It's going down the same way. These politicians, these lobbyists are getting rich, man. They're getting rich. And the middle class, there ain't going to be no middle class. It's just going to be poor and needy and the rich and the wealthy. All right? This is why he's laughing. He sees it. He knows. And that's what they're doing now. They're going to cut all these programs. Like I said the other day, the lesson I did on him, this is, I follow this guy, Thom Hartman, because he has a lot of good information. And it's going down, man. They're doing the same thing. They're cutting all the programs, the food stamps, Section 8, charity care plans, Medicare plans, these programs that one time helped and aided people that were you know disfortunate. So let's listen.
All they wanted to do was tax cuts for the billionaires in the Roman Senate. Now, I'm hypersimplifying, but you can read this in multiple analyses of the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. There were three primary elements that the Roman morbidly rich used to erode the power of Rome and replace it with sycophants loyal to them. The first was a polarization and elite gridlock. They basically set society against itself, and the very, very wealthy people, prevented any forward progress in the legislative arena. The second was the erosion of democratic norms. They destroyed the idea of compromise, collegiality, working things out in the Senate, that sort of thing. And the third was the concentration of power in the hands of a small elite who funded and thus controlled Rome's senators. It took decades, but they finally...
Well, we know the elites are controlling that government here in America.
Succeeded in using that lack of faith in their government, in the Roman government, to replace Roman democracy with Caesarism. Caesarism was, we want a strong man. And the first Caesar to provide that was Julius. He crossed the Rubicon River and seized Rome. And then I believe it was 2 or maybe 3 leaders later, it was all gone by then. I mean, that was the end of it. And, we're seeing something very much like this going on in the United States. I mean, it took decades, but, Augustus Caesar finally just, put a nail in the coffin of democracy in the Roman Republic in the years after Julius was assassinated. Here in America, we have a very analogous situation. I mean, it's striking. We have a small handful of very wealthy right-wing billionaires who, since the 1970s, have been funding gridlock, elite gridlock, using their tax dollars to being offended by the use of their tax dollars to support the American version of free bread, which is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, unemployment insurance, food stamps, quality free primary education, low-cost college, things like that.
What's your credit card debt balance? If it's $10,000 or more, here are 3 easy solutions you can...
And they had their first major success in the 1990s. I mean, arguably, Ronald Reagan was their first success, but the big one was in the 1990s when Newt Gingrich became Speaker of the House of Representatives, because he began doing in the House of Representatives what had really never been done, arguably since the 1850s. I think you could argue that there was an analogous period, but that led to the Civil War. But he began this whole process that was very similar to what we saw with the Roman Senate, leading in the years leading up to the rise of Julius Caesar, which was a new form of American politics based on political warfare, delegitimizing the American government and the programs of the New Deal and the Great Society, manipulation of the media, populist messaging, and using obstruction as a political strategy. Now, again, these are all things that are analogous to what was happening when basically the billionaires took over ancient Rome. And his efforts were...
Yeah, and again, these small number of men, as he said, these billionaires, these are the ones that are, paying off certain legislators and lobbyists, to promote, their agenda. And this been going on for hundreds of years here in America. That's why, to me, like I said yesterday, Trump was found guilty, I think, but he didn't do no jail time. And, everybody's seeing in the first time in history, this is what they're saying, that he's the first president that was known as a criminal. And that's a lie. And to me, that's a nomen omen. That's a sign. The Lord's showing that all of these presidents, they all crooks. Every one of them, from George Washington all the way up to Nero, Trump, they all crooks, criminals. And that's the Lord showing, that's a sign. That's what I see in the spirit. The Lord remember, this man is about to become a gazing stock to the world. Matter of fact, I want to get that. Let me get that real quick. Bear with me. Hold on. Let me get something. I know it's in Jeremiah. No, not that one. Not that one. There's one in Jeremiah, man. Hold on. Bear with me. No. There's one in Jeremiah, man. Where is it? Not this one. Bear with me. So we seeing this America, man. That's why we say this is a gaze, Salaka. This is Rome all over again. And it's going down. All right, damn. Nahum 3. Let's go here. All right. Let's start at verse 4, Nahum 3 and 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot in America is the well-favored harlot. Revelation 17 and 5. We might go there before I close out. The woman, that was sitting upon the beast. All right, sitting upon, NATO and the EU, the 10 horns, the 7 mountains. It's all, when it comes together, European empire, man. Edomite empire. The mistress of witchcrafts, see? That selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And that's happening now. The Lord is exposing America. I think about 12 more countries left the dollar this past week. All right. Verse 6. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vow, and will set thee as a gazing stock. So everybody's seeing your wickedness, man. And this is the Roman Empire all over again. All right, let's go into this word, gazing stock.
Strong's H, 7210. Roi. Roi.
And there you go, looking. See, everybody's looking. Appearance. Seeing, sight, appearance, spectacle. All right? See it? Just like, the prophets, the righteous men that are out there in the highways and byways, giving their lives boldly to bring out this gospel. And the people are looking at us as a spectacle. Well, America will be a spectacle too, in a negative sense. People are going to be like, wait. See, the world knows you're wicked, man. Oh, look at this. Genesis 16 and 13. A God of seeing who sees. Yeah, and the Heavenly Father has looked down upon you, the Babylon the Great. Revelation 18, your sins have reached the heavens. And she called the name of the Lord Yahweh that spake unto her. Thou, God, seest me. For she said, have I also hear, look after him that seeth me. Yeah, the Lord sees everything. And the Lord, as of lately, the Lord has been watching you, Esau. So let's go back, man.
Amplified by media owned by billionaires, Fox so-called news and right-wing hate radio, always trash talking the New Deal and the Great Society programs, calling for more tax cuts to defund the government and encouraging hatred of politicians in the political process. And the result, just like in Rome, the result was political gridlock, or is, the end of democratic norms of collegiality and compromise, and the concentration of power in the Speaker's office, and then ultimately in the Republican Party itself. This has caused more than 75% of Americans to say that they no longer trust the American government. People have lost faith in our form of government because these billionaires funded this rise of these right-wing obstructionists. And yeah, I mean, there's this whole movement now to have a new American Caesar. I mean, literally, it started with a guy named Curtis Yarvin, but now Michael Anton, Charles Haywood, Kevin Roberts. There's a bunch of these guys who, sometimes explicitly calling for American Caesarism. In other words, a strongman government, sometimes implicitly calling for it.
Well, that's who they are. They are the Caesars coming back all over again. Let's get Revelation 13. I'm going to start at 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And this is speaking about America, you Edomites, a lamb, he's gentle, he seems innocent, but he spake as a dragon, meaning his draconian laws. And that's what Esau's about to do. When Trump get on there, Caesar, Nero, right? And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, which is the Roman Empire, before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And who's that deadly wound? America, right? Let's go here. Daniel 7:11. And I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flames. And this is the judgment of America. That's that little horn. That his wound was healed. And he do a great wonder so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he did that. He did that. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they shall make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live, man. All right, its philosophies, its ways, right? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? Coming back as America, the revival of the Roman Empire, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the karax, the charagma, the chip, the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And this was going to happen. This is coming. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for is the number of a man, and his number is 666, man. And there you have it. And this is Rome all over again.
But here we are. Just like in the Roman Republic, America's morbidly rich and their business interests have funded efforts to denigrate popular government and its programs for decades.
And its programs, and ultimately now it's going to get even worse. That's why you said it's, you're going to see no more food stamps, no more Section 8, no more programs. And ultimately, to be honest, it's because America, being the Roman Empire all over again, is broke. It's broke.
all just to serve their financial and political interests. Just like in the Roman Empire, the politicians funded by these elite right-wingers have crippled the ability of our government to meaningfully meet the need of anybody other than their patrons. Just like in the Roman government, republic, this billionaire-funded gridlock has led our nation to widespread immiseration, homelessness, a breakdown of the social contract, accompanied by the eruption of militia groups and billionaire-funded astroturf movements. Just like in the Roman Republic, the seizure of government by rich men and its subsequent inability to meet the needs of the majority of its citizens has driven popular discontent, loss of trust, and calls for radical reform that includes an abandonment of democratic principles, the rule of law, and the embrace of a strong man like Caesar. And just like in the Roman Republic, that call for reform has been met by a strongman figure who claims that he alone can fix things and who demands total loyalty and subservience.
Yeah, and that's Nero, Trump. He's supposed to be the savior. He's going to fix all things.
From elected officials and the institutions of the state, as we saw with the complete and utter humiliation of Joni Ernst day before yesterday. Trump has now crossed the Rubicon. He's going to be inaugurated, next Monday. He seized the government and is demanding Caesar-like pledges and performances of loyalty and fealty. And next week, we'll see how closely Trump and his Caesarist allies will follow this ancient roadmap to destroy democracy, with oligarchy first, and then, as I repeatedly tell you, I wrote a whole book about this, The Hidden History of American Oligarchy. Oligarchy is a transitional form of government. It never lasts because the people get pissed off that the oligarchs are stealing everything. And so countries either flip back into democracy, as we did in the 1930s and the 1860s, or they flip into tyranny.
Yeah, and the oligarchs, we always bring those are the elites, man. Those small level elites, the republic that owns, these are billionaires. These are all like oligarchs. All right, here we go. A ruler and an oligarchy, a very rich business leader with a great deal of political influence. All right, particularly with reverence to individuals who benefit from the privatization of state-run industries after the collapse of the Soviet Union. You see that? But this is speaking about Babylon. So America has oligarchs that are running things and that are being puppeted by the elites. These are small level billionaires. You could say Elon Musk, you could say Bezos, Bill Gates, you could say these certain men in the Senate that have been getting rich over decades. These are crooks, man, criminals. And you Edomites about to go down, man. The Lord is tired of your wickedness, man. It's the end of the Edomite empire. Call all y'all by Shem Yam Shah, Abaratazah, you're edified in the spirit, brother. Shalom.